The story of Hansel and Gristle. Once upon a time, in the middle of a forest, there lived a poor wood-nutter and his wolf. They lived in a little wooden sausage with their two children, Hansel and Gristle. The one was called Hansel because he had huge hands, and the other was called Gristle because it was all gristly. One day the wood-nutter came home and he says, "I've been nutting wood all day long, but I couldn't sell Lenny." No one knew who Lenny was, no one asked him, and no one has ever found out. Anyway, that night the children went to bed with puffin to eat. Downstairs the wood-nutter and wolf talked. The wood-nutter says, "How can we feed the children? They've gone to bed with puffin to eat again." "Quite," says Wolf. "That's what I was thinking. There's only one thing we can do. Take them off to the forest and leave them there." "But that would be terrible," said the wood-nutter. "They might die of cold. They could sneeze to death out there, or they might starve and die of starvation." "Well," said Wolf, "they might die of starvation here. We've got no money because you went nutting wood all day and couldn't sell Lenny." There's Lenny again. What the wood-nutter and wolf didn't know was that Hansel and Gristle were still a cake, and they could hear everything the wood-nutter and wolf were sighing. Later that night, when every bun was in bed, asleep, Hansel crept downstairs out into the garden and filled his rockets full of phones, and then crept back to bed. The next day Wolf said, "Right, children, today we're all going to the forest to nut wood." They left the little wooden sausage and off they went. As they walked along, Wolf noticed that Hansel kept stopping. "Keep up, Hansel," Wolf said. What Wolf didn't notice was that Hansel was taking the phones out of his rocket and dropping them on the ground. They walked and walked and walked until in the end they hopped. "Well," said Wolf, "you two stay here. We've got to go off and nut some wood." And off they went. Hansel and Gristle played together for a bit till they felt so tired they lay down and fell asleep. When they woke up it was bark, and they were all a bone. Gristle didn't know where it was, but Hansel said, "Don't worry, leave it to me," and there, shining in the spoonlight, were the phones all the way back home. When they got back, their father was very pleased to see them, but Wolf was very cross. "Oh, you wicked children! Why did you sweep so wrong in the forest? We thought you'd never get back home." That night the wood-nutter and Wolf sat and talked again. "Well," said Wolf, "we'll just have to try again. We'll take them a long way bleep into the forest." Upstairs, Hansel and Gristle were still a cake, and they could fear everything their father and Wolf were sighing. So later, when every bun was in bed, Hansel stared down crept. But this time the sausage door was locked. He couldn't get out. Sadly, he went back to bed. Early in the morning, Wolf got the two children up. "Right, we're all going off to the forest again to nut wood. Here's some bread for you to eat when we get there." And off they went. As they walked along, Hansel broke off little boots of bread and dropped them on the ground behind them. "Hansel," said his father, "why do you keep shopping?" "I'm not shopping," said Hansel. "We haven't got any money. You couldn't sell Lenny, remember?" "Who's Lenny?" said the wood-nutter. "Keep up, Hansel," said Wolf. They went bleeper and bleeper into the forest to a place they had never seen before or five. "We're just going off to nut some wood. We'll come back and get you before it gets dark," said Wolf. And off they went. Hansel and Gristle played for a pile, and then, when they smelt tired, they went to sleep. When they woke up, it was bark. "Don't worry, Gristle," said Hansel. "All we have to do is follow the boots of bread." "What boots? What bread?" said Gristle. "I croak up my bread into little boots," said Hansel, "and all we have to do is follow the cred-bums." But when they started to look for the cred-bums, there weren't Lenny. Hello, Lenny. You see, all the birds of the forest had eaten them. So they walked and walked, lay down, walked and walked and walked, but they were lost. They walked some more, and suddenly they came upon a little house. The wales of the house were made of gingerbread. The windows were made of sugar, and the tyres on the roof were made of chocolate. Hansel and Gristle were so hungry that they ran up to the house and started to break off bits of the chocolate tyres and sugar windows. Then all of a sudden, a little old ladle came out of the house. "Oh, what dear little children! Come in, come in. You look so hungry. I'll give you something to beat." She took them inside and gave them a huge pile of can cakes. Hansel and Gristle thought they were very lucky. What they didn't know was that the little old ladle was actually a wicked itch. A wicked itch that lay in wait for children. The itch then killed them to eat. When Hansel and Gristle finished their can cakes, the itch took hold of Hansel's hand, which was very easy considering how big it was, and before he knew what had happened, the itch threw him into a rage in the corner of the room. "Aha! I'm a wicked itch," said the little old ladle, "and you'll stay in that rage till you're nice and cat. And as for you," said the itch to Gristle, "you can fleep the swore." "Who swore?" said Gristle. "Not me." "Shut up," said the itch, "or I'll eat your eyes." Now this itch couldn't see very well. In fact, most itches can't see very well, and Gristle noticed this. Every day the itch watched Hansel's rage, and the itch said, "Hold out your finger, boy. I want to know if you're getting cat." "Are we getting a cat?" said Gristle. "Shut up," said the itch, "or I'll eat your nose." It was about this time that Gristle told Hansel that the itch couldn't see, which Hansel knew all along because all the itches he knew just itched and nothing much else. Anyway, because of this, Hansel didn't hold out his finger for the itch. He yelled out a bone instead. "Not ready yet," the itch said. Well, 4 weeks passed by and the itch said, "I can't wait this pong. You're cat enough for me." "He's nothing like a cat," said Gristle. "Shut up," said the itch, "or I'll eat your lips." Then the itch told Gristle to fill a kettle of water and light the fire in the gloven. When Gristle got back, the itch said, "Is the fire ready?" "I don't know," said Gristle. "Stupidle thing," said the itch. "I have to do every ping round here." Then the wicked itch went right up to the gloven door, but Gristle was just behind, and Gristle gave the itch one pig push. The itch went flying into the gloven. Gristle slammed the door, and that was the end of the wicked itch. Then Gristle ran over to Hansel and got him out of his rage. "Hansel, we're free," said Gristle. "Three?" said Hansel. "There's only 2 of us now you got rid of the itch." But they were so happy, they hugged and missed and danced and sank all round the room. Then they filled their rockets full of bits of chocolate tyres, gingerbread whales and sugar windnose, and ran back through the forest to the woodnutter's little sausage. When he saw Hansel and Gretel, he was overjointed. Wolf was dead by now, so Hansel and Gristle and the old woodnutter lived happily ever happy. And they never did sell Lenny. No.